Welcome to part 48 of Final Fantasy 15. Now, we're going to be doing a few side quests before we end chapter 6 and move on to chapter 7, which would more than likely lock us out of events until after chapter 7's objectives are done, to say the least. But we are going to, one, turn in the Carol Whisker we got from the Chocobo Festival to get the Drain Lance to be upgraded. So we'll turn in the Drain Lance. Two, we will also actually start off with Navith. Yeah, that new rod will definitely come in handy, but more importantly, we're going to be doing a couple of hunts. Or I think at least one hunt in this episode. So, with that said, we're going to go on ahead and knock those things out of the ballpark. And we're going to make sure that we have enough money. So when we do go over to chapter 7, we will have enough money to buy ourselves some potions and stuff like that to go into the dungeon. Because basically, all chapter 7 is us going into a dungeon. That's it. Chapter 7 is incredibly short. We're going into a dungeon, and we're also searching for Mithril, and we have to do elaborate things for Mithril. But I'll explain further once we are about to start Chapter 7 as to why Chapter 7... I'm doing all this now before we actually get into Chapter 7. That's the thing that I'm going to address once we start getting into it. But again, we're going to be doing this for all the other chapters that we may be locked out of major events for. Specifically the last one being Chapter 8. Because once it comes to a point where we actually leave for Altissia in Chapter 8, this is the point of no return until you get Umbra. Yeah, Umbra, you can always come back to it and everybody will be back to their original positions, but this will be basically the point of no return if you do happen to go to Altissia and start the event to the end of the game. I mean, Umbra will be there so you could go back, but it'll technically be the point of no return if you want to just finish off with the game. Honestly, I would rather go over to Altissia anyway, like at part 60, and nowhere sooner than that. Or nowhere later than that, at least. Because there are a few things I need to do before I actually get on with the next part. And lastly, if you haven't noticed, the sun has been setting less and actually more and more, and there's less hours for daytime.
How's about a bite to eat?
So yeah, keep that in mind as we approach the next chapter. The sun will be going down sooner and sooner. I mean, I did bring this up as chapter 5 was the start of that, but chapter 6 and 7 onward, it's going to start getting less and less. There's going to be less and less sunlight and more darkness. And as the game progresses, you will see why. Anyway, since it's completely dark and it is 9 o'clock, it's as if this place hasn't heard of daylight savings time. Let's go on ahead and try to quickly get to that hunt as quick as humanly possible. Kinda wish I had Chocobo. That would have made things a hell of a lot easier on myself, but that's not even the case. I managed to get another hunt. This time, it's going to be the Greater Flan, and the reason why I'm going after the Greater Flan is because the Greater Flan, Jumbo Flan, sorry, is a different hunt from the other Flan that I happen to fight.
Knocked.
Yeah, I'm starting to hear demons in the background.
Say your prayers.
Up, and there they go. Nope, I don't want. Do not. Oh God, and they have Imperial soldiers. Hell no. Run! Run, you fool! Yeah. The last thing I honestly needed was not only a demon, but also Imperial troops. And they were actually going to drop that secret weapon on us, man. Yeah, that's the last thing anyone needed. So we're here in the area where the giant Flan should appear. And sometimes there will be demons coming out of the woodwork. But the thing you have to realize is this giant Flan, Jumbo. Why do I keep saying giant? It's Jumbo Flan. This Jumbo Flan is going to be an enemy once you actually hunt it down. So bear that in mind. That's the Jumbo Flan. Well, that was the Jumbo Flan, and now it's almost dead. As a matter of fact, a few more hits and it's down. Simply put, just use ice magic on it. Do not use fire magic. It will heal itself. Other than that, that's the Jumbo Flan, folks. Yeah, that was a hunt. And also, don't be alarmed if I actually go after hunts. Well, now that I think about it, I would take it back. That I actually did do some more hunts past part 60. I wanted to go to I wanted to go to the next chapter, or at least Taltisha in part 60, but I just remembered in all of the parts I would be doing extra dungeons, and on top of that, extra side quests before going to Altissia. So it may be at least part 62 that I actually go to Altissia. And we do have an actual number on how many parts will be in this playthrough. I'm thinking about 97. If I'm pushing it, the maximum would be 115. Somewhere along the lines of Legend of Dragoon. Because, yeah, people will eventually lose interest after the 60th part. For some reason. I don't know if it's my voice or if it's something else, but they'll just lose interest. But I promise you, stupid shit does happen every time I play. And speaking of stupid shit happening, guess what I'm doing? I'm going to tempt fate and go straight over to the campsite. And hope to God that I don't run into any more demons. That would be just stupid of me. And honestly, I should cook some more food. And at least keep my HP up because... Or at least my experiment... Oh, goodness. Wait, where is it? Where is it? I don't see it. Where is it? Nope, don't care. Let's just go. I should at least eat some food so I can have Ignis max out his cooking. Because once we get to chapter 8, if not 9, Ignis won't be able to cook for the rest of the game. Until around in-game, actually. So bear that in mind. And now we've got a good number of dishes to cook. So, let's think of what to cook here. I mean, it's not like... Oh, wait, by the way, that new recipe that you see there, that's because Ignis went up to level 5. No, wait, no, that was actually from the recipe book that I happened to bought from Cornick Station over in Old Lestalem. That's where that recipe is. So I can make that and show what that does. But if Ignis makes enough recipes, he's going to end up learning some new recipes every time he levels up his skills. And speaking of which, yeah, my game just kind of skipped there, and Ignis learned a new skill and a new dish. I'm gonna keep that photo, and we'll just move on. Now then, let's use the map and head on back to our car, because we're going to be going after Navith this time. And, yeah. Navith, again I said, you're going to have to level up your
Good idea.
fishing with Noctis to about 10 in order to complete his missions. Because there's one mission in particular that will need not only you to be at level 10, so that way you won't take as much, your line won't take as much damage, but also, oh yeah, I gotta deal with that later. Yeah, this was another save file. I forgot about that. But I'm gonna be dealing with this guy. And I think there's him too. So I'll be dealing with Wiz later on, but right now I'm dealing with Navith now, so I could get Fishing Buddy started before we actually get started on Chapter 7. Because he won't be unlocked until after Chapter... No, his next mission won't be unlocked until after Chapter 7, so I might as well get him done now. So, with that said, I'll see you guys when we make it over to Navith's house and start fishing. And we've made it to the pond. This time around, we're going to actually stand right here and fish. All we need to find is a Crag Barramundi. And unfortunately, unlike what I just did before, that may cut out to where we actually run into the fish. Just a word of warning, because again, Xbox DVR. I know, I thought I had a working capture card, but the software that the computer is on is not working. So, yeah. The next step is for me to actually get an Elgato, but those things are freaking expensive. Anyway, oh! I managed to snag a small fish. So, yeah, pathetic. Very pathetic. Alright. This time, I actually found the Crag Barramundi that I happened to run into. Yeah, I just, again, said that it cut off at the 10-minute time limit, but the Crag Barramundi will actually put up a fight. Well, it wouldn't give you too much trouble if you're a level 3 or higher, but still, if you're trying to catch it, make sure you, move your,
That's the one Navith was talking about?
make sure you move the fishing rod where you can actually have less tension. This thing took half of my line, mind you. But I managed to catch one, so that's all that matters. Now we could turn it into Navith. Oh, by the way, we just got a new recipe from catching the Crag Barramundi. So, let's see if I've gotten any... Oh, wait. I've got enough QP. Well, almost. I almost got enough. I just need another 100. And that's when things are gonna get better for me, at least. So, let's talk to Navith. And let's turn that quest in.
Well, a promise is a promise. Here's your prize.
You sure?
Sure, I'm sure. With that lure, you'll be able to diversify, reel in more kinds of fish. And catching things you ain't caught before. End of the day, that's what being an angler's all about. You're still wet behind the ears, but you got potential.
And with that, Fishing Buddies is done. But Navith will come back later on in the game, so bear that in mind. And you do get a lure, which you will eventually have unlocked once you get into the later chapters of the game. And also once you discover more fishing shops. So if you happen to get more fishing spots, then you'll be, or at least more shops that actually sells items like well, for your tackle box anyway, like lures and a new line or a new rod, it'll start showing up in your car as well. So that's something that is good. Oh, if you still have, as long as you have one of those items, you can actually buy them in your car. And so long as you actually unlock the ability to buy them too, you can shop in your car. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, one last thing that needs to be done, because we're almost done with this part. We're going to have to stop over at Cape Cayam so that we can
Everything in order.
turn in the Drainlance 3. Now, why am I so adamant at stopping over at Cape Cayam to turn in the Drainlance 3? That's one less weapon that we need to worry about upgrading, because it'll be on its second to last. No, it's actually on its last upgrade, because he takes away the Drainlance, but after a few side quests, he gives it back. So that's something that needs to be said. Whew. And by he, I mean Sid.
The sun's gone.
Yeah, and again, I also cut out the trip because, well, it's a long, long trip.
Objections here.
And, of course, sundown happens real fast, mind you. It was in the middle of the day, like around 9 o'clock.
I'm pretty beat. Can we call it a night for the hotel?
But now, all of a sudden, it is close to nightfall. And Prompto is telling us to
No time to stop.
take a
Keep
break.
moving.
Even though we're right at the area where we can actually go and take a break.
Sometime.
Yes, if you never doze off in the car.
Hey, that's different.
Well, we're here, so it's not that big of a deal. We at least managed to park here at Cape Cayam.
Walk.
And we're not like in the middle of civilization or wilderness or anything like that. We're just out here in an area that's heavily lighted so that the demons would not come out and attack us. That's the thing that is good about Cape Cayam. You don't have to worry about demons coming out of the woodwork kicking your ass. No, it's once you get down the hill near a campsite, that's when they start showing up. Well, without further ado, let's head up to the lighthouse, because that's where Sid is. And that's where Sid will be until, that is, you go to Altissia. Then he's going to return back to his shop.
What are your plans for after?
And
reuniting
that's
with
the part where we actually get Umbra and we go back a few ways, because I may do a little bit more side quests once we get to Altissia. But once we're done with the side quest, it's going to be straight near the end of the game. That's pretty much all it's going to be.
Nice. Hand over your weapon and I'll
You simply turn in the lance, and that's it. We just have to wait.
get
And while we're waiting, next episode, we're going to be doing a little bit more side quests, but then we start on Chapter 7. See you guys in the next episode of Final Fantasy 15 as I head back over to the cabin so I can at least rest. Because trust me, it's going to be a long, long day next part. Oh, yeah, and by the way, enjoy Gladio while you still can.